Hi guys, so it is the latter part of May and the garden is in full swing, as you can see. It is absolutely glorious. It makes my heart sing. It's just wonderful. So today we're going to walk around the garden. I'm going to share with you what's going really, really well, what's doing okay, and then what's going, yeah, maybe not so much. I'd like to welcome you to my backyard Kentucky homestead. My name is Kim, and let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and start towards the back of the garden where we have our tomatoes, beans, peppers, onions, leeks, and a few other things. And our green beans are doing well. We've got some down the way that are actually starting to flower. Here we have a Matt's Wild Cherry, absolutely gorgeous. We have some basil, super fantastic, which has some bird poo. That's one of the problems. That is one problem with these, and having a bird feeder and having so many birds around. They really, really love to land on here. So we'll have to wash that off or let the rain wash it off. Red oxheart is doing well. And what I have done is come through and pulled off the bottom leaves. I want to have at least a foot on all my tomato plants, especially the indeterminate. The determinate tomatoes, I might only go up maybe 8 inches, but I want to keep the leaves away from the soil. We have our hillbilly tomato. Then I moved to my indeterminate over here, separated them into separate bags. These are chocolate stripes. Doing very well. These are our Doe d'Espagne. They're growing beautifully. I think we actually have some flowers starting to develop. Yep, so they're doing great. We have leeks. Down here, this bed is leeks. So we may be able to harvest some of those here soon. Over in this bed behind here, I've got some carrots. I've thinned those out so they're getting a little bit bigger. I went ahead and pulled the pak choi that was on that side and the turnips that turned out to be radishes on this side. And I planted candy roaster squash on this side and a Moon and Stars pumpkin on the far side. This is one of our, I think, Nootka Rose garlic. So with garlic, this is a soft neck, and what we're looking for is for the bottom 3 or 4 leaves to dry up, and they are just now starting to do that. So we've got probably at least another month or so with that. Do have basil everywhere. Gonna go ahead and pinch a little bit to make sure it keeps, I'll come back and pick that up. Make sure it keeps growing. It'll get bushier and happier. We have celery here, here, and here. It's doing very well. I've got snapdragons here and there and everywhere. There's a nasturtium. Just beautiful, going to be gorgeous. And we have some teddy bear sunflowers starting here and also in that pot over there. This is the half bed of red Lesota, and they are flowering. And then on the far side, we have enchilium garlic, which is also in about the same state as the Nootka Rose. So we probably have about a month to go on that. But it's doing great. We should have some really nice garlic this year. What I did this year that was different from last year, bugs. What I did that was different this year from last year is that I kept each individual type of garlic in its own space. So I have half a bed at 4 times. So I have 4 half beds of garlic. I have enchilium, Nootka Rose, Killarney Red, and Music, so that I'm able to store them and actually go ahead and save some of the garlic for next year for late October, early November planting. Last year I had all my hardneck garlic together, but all the types were different, and I just really had no idea. And they were ready to harvest at different periods of time, so it was really important this year to make sure I kept them separate. So far, it's going really well. Over here in the center, we have one of our bags of red Lesota. This is our royal purple nasturtium, which should start climbing up there soon. The sweet peas that I started to grow earlier, not doing so great. That's kind of, I'm going to say, is pretty much of a fail. I'm hoping that they'll flower, but each of the bags has a tangerine nasturtium on the inside. And then in the center, we have Mexican torch sunflowers. zinnias on the two sides and then cosmos on the other two bags. This one is Job's Tears and Love in a Puff. So I'm guessing this is Love in a Puff and this is Job's Tears. So hopeful that those will climb up this. I did go ahead and put 4 hanging baskets. We have the miniature sweet peas and that one, as well as this one, and they are actually getting ready to flower. And then this, I have one variety of the Love in a Mist, either mulberry or the Miss Jekyll mix. And then I went ahead and got a couple of Bermuda Beach petunias on clearance at Lowe's. So pop those in here. So they're really pretty. And I've got the same thing on that basket there. Over here we have our perpetual easy straw. Wasn't 99% weed free problem. So the easy straw this past year, I don't know what happened to it. It was absolutely chock full of seeds. It was horrible. This is snail vine and the Love in a Puff. So it looks like we got a Love in a Puff, and I am not seeing any butterfly peas out that. I think that's still hay. So I may need to change what I'm doing here, because that is butterfly pea didn't germinate, it looks like. Over here we have more of our indeterminate tomatoes in the back, and we actually have flowers, which is really cool. So if you want to make sure you get plenty of tomato fruit, if you come out and just shake the flower a little bit, they actually will pollinate that way. It's pretty cool. I'm probably going to separate these a little bit to give them more airflow. But again, I'm keeping the undersides clear of leaves so that they don't touch the soil and they have plenty of airspace down there. Now this is Crimson Sprinter, Napoli, another Napoli. Those are determinate tomatoes. And this one is unknown. I don't see a tag. All right. It is looking like it is a determinate, though it's not getting very big yet. We'll see. But the difference between a determinate tomato and an indeterminate is that the determinate will get to a certain size. It will set all of its fruit within a couple of weeks, and then it will be all ready to harvest, and you can can it or however you want to preserve it. This is our dwarf Stony Brook Heart. I've got a couple of these over near the shed as well, in that area over there. Back there we have a carbon tomato, so really exciting. Come back over here. Here we have an Anaheim College pepper, 2 of them, which is doing well. We have paprika, Anaheim College. The habanadas got chewed on a little bit, but they're coming back, so they're doing well. And these are onions. These are leeks. Yeah, these are leeks. I think. Yeah, those are leeks. So then we have a poblano pepper, which is starting to set flowers. And then the Jedi jalapeno are getting a lot of blossoms on them. So we're really excited to see that. Yeah, we're going to have a whole bunch of jalapenos. So. Our sweet potatoes are doing pretty well. I did end up separating them into 3 different bags because they were too close together. But we had a couple of really chilly nights, so I think they might have taken a little damage. But overall, they're doing really well. I'm happy with them. Not happy with the straw. Don't need any hay. But anyway, sweet potatoes are doing well. But beautiful salvia that I started last year from seed. I'm going to trim that back here very soon. Over here we have another type of green bean. I have a Candyland cherry tomato. Brown sugar. It's doing great. I'm going to go ahead and pinch this back. Give it some more space. And one of the things I do need to be careful about is that there is still plenty of airflow in here. I'll come back through and grab that basil later. dry it. So that's brown sugar, a pink oxheart, and the Rebel Starfighter dip. And then we have the Rebel Starfighter. It was so teeny tiny when we planted it, but it is actually doing great. Super happy about that. And the reason that I'm planting so much basil, one, I like it and when I dry it, but basil is really good at warding off, or at least confusing tomato hornworms. So you are I have found a lot less likely to get those on your tomatoes. Anywhere that I had plenty of basil around my tomatoes, I didn't get hornworms. So here we have, again, Job's Tears, cypress vine, and we have some support remnants. Working on a big project back here, extending the flower bed. We've got almost everything planted, but we got a little bit more to do, and then we need to put irrigation in, which we're going to do this afternoon, hopefully. And then we're going to cardboard and mulch everything, but it's going to be gorgeous. In here we have some antique stock rose color, so it's doing well. And another bag of cypress vine and Lebanon mist. Over here we have giant Marconi. So these are a long Italian sweet pepper. Starting to have buds. I think I do have some bird damage, something's chewing on these. Might put out some snail bait. These are our candy onions, I think. They started from seed. All my onions kind of tipped sideways, or most of them did. I'm going ahead and leaving them that way. They haven't flopped. The necks haven't flopped, but they're all a little sketchy. We'll see how it goes. This is a Goliath bell pepper, and then another Marconi and our orange Lisa peppers. We got a pile of mulch. We have a black from Tula tomato. The Drusilla is going crazy. Look how big this thing is. It's massive so far. More, and we actually have some flowers on our beans. So I've got a variety of different these. Some of these are dollar store, Dollar Tree beans. Some of them are from M.I. Gardner. So some are burpee, some are just American seed. There's all different kinds that I'm using this year. This one is a black cherry, which this has to probably be my favorite tomato. It has a small black cherry tomato from it, and it is prolific, and it usually will last the entire season. So it is one of the tomatoes I still have when I have to pull tomatoes because we're going to get frost. So it is just a trooper, and it produces so well. And I use it to make salsa quite often. Doing great. That one's going to be a little harder to get to, so let's kind of tackle it from the side. Again, more green beans. We have a large red cherry tomato. And then we have a brandy boy there. And these are some of our onions. They're actually doing pretty well. They're starting to bulb up a little bit. We've got at least another month and a half on this probably. And then these are Yellow Monster and King of the North peppers. That is a bush steak. And that one is super fantastic. These are King of the North and Yellow Monster. We actually have two peppers that have already formed. This is King of the North. And this one is a Yellow Monster. So super excited. Got some more of my salvia from seed. And then all of these pots are a variety of different, mostly perennials that just were not big enough to plant out into the yard yet. So we're just trying to get those to get a little bit bigger. And we do have some sedum. Actually, that's a daisy. So we got some daisies, some Russian sage, a couple of different types of sedum stone crops that needs to still be planted out. I don't know what happened, but my sun gold tomato broke. Might be because of all of the wind we had. So I did have another Rebel Starfighter. I put that in the next to it. The sun gold may still actually resprout. I've seen that happen with determinate tomatoes, so we'll see what happens with it. Here we have some more. We have some hollyhock, some poppies, some coreopsis. It's a variety of different things that we'll be planting out. We have some licorice white agastaki, which is supposed to be perennial in my area. If you've ever smelled the agastaki, a lot of times it smells like regular spearmint gum. It's really nice. And then we have either Rudbeckia or Echinacea. I can't remember which one it was. We have a red dogwood. A little fern behind it. Just a little pot I need to put away. That little fern. Looks like a tree. Our black-eyed Susan vines are not doing very well, if anything, so I may have to rethink that. Our sweet peas, though, have been just cranking out the peas. We still have a lot of flowers on these, and oops. And then lots of peas. We did find that we really prefer sugar, and I bought some locally from the burpee ones, and they're a little bit less sweet. Sugar and from my garden were the best ones we've seen so far. Over here we have 3 astilbe, and then we have a yellow dogwood bush. So we're doing really good. So this is the contraption I got to set up to my cover. It's working pretty well. I did end up harvesting the kohlrabi. I pulled the cauliflower and broccolis because they bolted, and I'm done with that. I'm not going to try those again because they are a pain in the keister. We have Copenhagen cabbage market, but we have Copenhagen market cabbage here. It's coming to head, and then on the inside we have several of the smaller green acre cabbage. I have picked one of those already. And then over here we have several red acre cabbage. I had placed some of my eggplant over here when the broccoli was still here. So I've left that there, and then I've also planted, Baby Boo pumpkin, which is white, small white pumpkin. Valenciana pumpkin, which is also white. And then Jackberry little pumpkins. Those have not sprouted yet, so it's been about a week. I'm going to double check the packages. I may need to reseed those. This is a baby bear pumpkin. That's got a lot of poo on it. I'm going to have to wash all this stuff off. These are some of the onions from Dixondale Farms, the red ones, red candy apple. And then we have Walla Walla and Bridger onions. And then we have a beautiful tangerine nasturtium. Because all the other onions are going sideways. The necks haven't softened. They're just growing sideways. And I don't want to disturb them at this point. And then in each of the beds, I am trying to get an ornamental allium in there to try to ward off some of the pests. So we have some lavender I still need to work with, and we have some lisianthus growing up. And this is ladybird poppy, which is getting ready to flower. So a lot of the things in the grow bags are actually things that were winter sown. They just weren't quite big enough yet. We've got a variety of the lisianthus. I have a cranberry bush. So this is the American cranberry bush. A little stick that fell out of the tree. We have celosia. Giant double paper daisies. We have some Rocky Mountain penstemon. We have several of those. This is a Triloba rudbeckia. And then we have some ribascum and some more snapdragons that I need to probably do something with. Got some coral bell, heuchera, and some sedum that need to be planted out. Some echinacea, nasturtium, a few other snapdragons. These pots haven't germinated yet, so you may have to replant those. Got the ornamental allium, which I'm trying to grow quite a bit of okra. It's not working so great yet. I have in 3 or 4 beds actually have volunteer potatoes that have popped up. So I'm hoping that these will be ready. That one actually is flowering, so hopefully they'll be ready in the next few weeks. I do have my determinate tomatoes in here, as well as some snapdragons. But it's like just potato, 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 potato. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 potatoes in here, along with our determinate tomatoes. I do need to get these there's 3 or 4 of them in here I need to get staked up. Okay, these are our Huckleberry Gold, which are getting to the end of their bloom cycle, but they are still absolutely gorgeous. I did underplant with lettuce, which probably should come through and pick some of that, clear that out. But they are absolutely covered in flowers, and they have been for 2 weeks now. Just absolutely gorgeous flowers. It's beautiful. So these will be ready to pick probably 4 or 5 weeks. And once they do start dying back, once the flowers are gone and the plants start dying back, we can actually cut them, I found out, on an epic gardening video. And then they will actually cure a little bit faster in the ground. Over here, I had pak choi that went to seed, so I'm actually letting it go to seed so I can actually collect those seeds. Got a couple of those. These are, I believe, one side Yukon Gold and one is, where's the tag? Yeah. Okay, so this side is Yukon Gold. It hasn't flowered yet. I'm surprised. I expected these to actually be the first ones. And these are the red Norland potatoes. So they're growing, they're doing well. Let's see. We've got the Tamarillo is doing pretty good. Let's see if we've got, put in this, yeah. The ground cherries haven't done anything. If they're little, I mean, it's not doing good. So I may try that once more. Over here is the other 3 grow bags with the red Lesotho. So we have the taller bags that I have held up, and they're doing well. They haven't blossomed yet. We have one of them shorter bags, and then a second taller bag. Oh, there is a flower. Yay. So this one's also been held up, so we'll see. And then we have the other half of bed, and these are flowering. So the other half of the red Norland, or the other half of the red Lesotho potatoes. So these actually flowered a lot earlier than I was expecting, because these are supposed to be a late season crop. On the inside there, I have started some vining squash. I think they're butternut squash. So hopefully we'll finish. This is another section of peas, just absolutely loaded. We'll pull that here probably in the next week or 2. And then the pumpkin or the squash will be able to vine up that. So this is a Killarney Red, and actually we have escapes on here that we need to go ahead and harvest so that it continues to focus on sending all of its energy to the bulbs. Then what you want to do is when they start to curl around like this one is when you want to go ahead and just snap them off. Now these are completely edible. And what we can do is actually make a pesto with them. We can just use them in a saute. We can freeze dry them or dehydrate them and make garlic scape powder, which is maybe what I'm going to do. That one looks broken. So I'm going to come back through and finish pulling all of these off. So one of the things that happened last year with having way too many different types of hardneck garlic together, some of them escaped, some of them didn't. Some of them need to be harvested, some of them didn't. So all of these are coming to that point naturally and all that at the same time. So it's working a whole lot better. Over here, we have our 3 grapes. Still need to get the trellising set up for that. We have straw flowers in this bag. And then we have some blueberries. They've got, actually they are starting to ripen. Look at that. I need to get these covered before the birds eat them. And what I want to do with these 4 bags here at the back side is to put those into bigger grow bags. So we do have blueberries here and there. I don't see any on that one actually. Oh, no, there are a few back there. So quite a few blueberries. We do need to cover them. Birds ate them all last year. This one I cut back severely because it was like the center of it was probably about 5 feet tall and everything else was way down here. So I cut all of it back. So it's put on a whole lot of new growth and it's kind of all conformed to the same size now. This is how I'm growing the peas on this side. There's just these little containers. So this is a really great thing. If you've got a wall that you can grow these up, a little fence, you can just use a little rectangle container. I mean, they're taller than I am. That's over 6 feet tall. And they are just absolutely loaded with peas and more blossoms. So I'm going to harvest these as well. Come back and harvest those. This is some agastaki I started from seed. I think it's indigo. Yeah, Estelo indigo. Then we have some baby blue eucalyptus. And then we have a variety of agastaki fragrant delight. And then there's another one. I'm not sure what it is. There's 2 different kinds. I have a heritage raspberry bush that we are adding to our berry repertoire this year, and we've actually got some berries on it. And then we have snapdragons along the back side of this, because I had about 2,000, I think. And then we have the music garlic, which is also a hardneck garlic. So hardneck garlic does not store quite as long as softneck garlic, but softneck garlic does not create scapes. So this does give you another thing to work with. Softneck garlic also generally creates smaller cloves of garlic, where hardneck is larger. And there's a flavor difference. I think a lot of hardneck garlic has a little more intense flavor. Here we have our scout onions, which are doing really, really nicely. And then we have walking onions here. So I've never grown these before, and I think I probably have them way too close to each other. But they actually form bulbs at the top of the plant, and then once that gets really heavy, it falls over and will actually reseed itself. And that's why they're called walking onions. So those are doing pretty well. So in this bed, we have our purple Viking potatoes. I have way, way, way too many potatoes this year. It's insane how many I've got. But we'll be sharing them with family and friends. They have just started to bloom. So once the potatoes bloom, they actually are starting to form tubers down below. But then we want to again wait for the plants to die back before we harvest them. So we've got several more weeks on this. You also want to stop watering these, as well as the onions and the garlic, when it comes closer to time to harvest them. Probably about 2 weeks before, you're going to want to go ahead and stop watering those so that they're drier to when you harvest them. This is one of my squash beds. I have Bossa Nova zucchini on this side, Dunja zucchini, which is parthenocarpic on this side. I'm keeping them covered because I have a terrible time with cucumber beetles and squash vine borer and squash bugs. I think I'm going to need to make this a little taller. So I can make these taller, I'll just need to expand the netting on top of that. But we have some volunteer potatoes and our squash and our alliums. And hopefully we will actually have some squash this year. Here we have another volunteer potato. And under here we have our yellow squash. We have a chiffon yellow squash. And on this side, put this potato away from the squash plant. Give it some space. Chiffon yellow on both. So that's a chiffon yellow. This is a chiffon yellow. You go on the other side and see what that is. But we do have volunteer potatoes. And we also have some flowers that I planted over there. So this is golden glory yellow, which was questionable on how parthenocarpic that one was. Chiffon yellow is not. So once that and the Bossa Nova start flowering, I will have to hand pollinate those. In this container and the one on that side, I have Sunset Runner and Scarlet Runner pole beans, and they are actually starting to fine up. So that's awesome. I have some Rebecca that I started from seed, which I wasn't ready to plant out, but it's getting bigger. Some of it looks like it's ready to plant out into the landscape. These are potatoes that I had in the pantry. The russet potatoes are planted. These are the earliest ones. I thought this was pretty funny. So these potatoes all came from the same bag. This is a yellow, or that's a white flower. Those are purple flowers from the same bag. So they have different russet potatoes all mixed up, apparently. But these are doing very well. Like I said, these are some of the earliest ones I planted. A couple of the others I've got back here and two more down there. They're a little further behind, but they received more frost damage. We had a late freeze. It was unexpected. We have some asparagus. We have some asparagus growing. Haven't really harvested anything off of it. It's still too young. So this is a Julia amethyst eggplant, and I've got several of these around in different areas to try to get it away from the cucumber beetles and the potato fleas, the potato bugs. They're horrible. They love to chew the leaves up. We have some digitalis, Camelot mixed digitalis. It's almost ready. And definitely, we're going to get rain tomorrow night and Tuesday. It should be a lot, so it should wash all of the bird poo off. We have some snapdragons, and over there we have some. Yeah, this is why you don't want to use a regular Sharpie. Looks like Blue Lake, maybe. Looks like Blue Lake green beans on that side. And then black-eyed peas on this side. They're doing good. Got some, let's see, blue grandma grass, which was not big enough. It's gotten a lot bigger since I put it in that pot. It's an annual Gerber daisy. Agasaki, or no, that's a dark pink Gara. Some petunias I also got on clearance. Those are the Bonita Beach. Corabelle, and then clematis. Over here, we do have some rhubarb, more dark pink Gara. We have two blueberries in this bed, and then some salvia I started from seed. Some parsley, trying to do another okra. Some snapdragons. Along the front of this bed, I have some geraniums that I started from seed. And we actually have apples. These are 4 columnar apple trees, which I need to stake. But we actually have some apples on them this year. So I did come through last night and thin them out. Some a little bit more than I wanted to, but they're getting to be good sized apples. Look at that. Awesome. These came from Stark Brothers or Stark Bros. Chamomile that I started from seed. And then that is actually a St. John's Fire salvia, I believe, that came back from last year, which is just crazy. This tree, oh, there is one. There's a fruit there. There's some more of that, whatever that is. Snapdragons. And this is a red stamen wine sap apple. I'm thinking, if anybody has an idea of what's going on with this, let me know. I'm thinking it's got a fungus disease. It's just frustrating because it has actually quite a few apples on it. So there's our blackberry bed, which is absolutely loaded with blackberries. Got some new growth going on. A lot more blackberries. I need to fix the trellising over here. So I started this last year. It's Orangium or sea holly. And I didn't realize it was a 2-year bloomer. So it takes 2 years before it actually blooms. And so this year it's blooming and it is absolutely gorgeous. In this bed I have some peppers along the back, some hot peppers. We have maybe a cherry bush. This is the Jedi jalapeno that I overwintered inside. It is not so happy right now, but it does have a blossom on it. So we're gonna just let it go. Got maple trees everywhere. This is a Juliet cherry bush. Another pepper that I overwintered. Looks like it's a poblano maybe. And then we have some more hot peppers, and this is a Romeo cherry bush. And then our raspberries are loaded with little fruits. Morning glories are kind of working. I need to fertilize everything, I think. Definitely looks like I need some fertilizer. So I'm going to talk about all of these things in a later video when I talk about the flower beds. But everything is just growing beautifully. Just gorgeous. Got echinacea that's ready to just explode. It's going to be so pretty. We got echinacea. That might be Rebecca. But tomato projects are doing really, really well. Salsa project's doing really, really well. Over here, these are some of the Dixondale Farms onions. We do have the purple Italian pole beans climbing up in the back. All of our dwarf tomatoes. And the loofah is going up. We got loofah. Over here, we have 3 more dwarf tomatoes. And then along the back, we have purple and green tomatillos. And then we have some Malabar spinach that is starting. Lemon drop pepper. And then I think this is the Pippin's Golden Honey, which these are just about ripe. Got another eggplant. This is a new peach tree. So it's got some growth down here. I'm waiting for this to grow. Honeyberries, I've got 2, one on either side of that 9 bark, but they have not bloomed yet. This is their 3rd year, I think. So I'm hoping next year maybe we'll get some berries. They look like they need to be fertilized. We have Patterson onions here. They need to do some weeding. Then we have Superstar onions from Dixondale Farms, candy onions from Dixondale Farms, and they're doing really well. They do still have at least another month and a half at least, but they're doing well. Over here we have our parsnip carpet cucumbers and a whole lot of volunteer trees. Got volunteer trees. Anybody need a maple tree? I got a volunteer for sure. Okra's not looking great in the back, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But the cucumbers are doing pretty well. I do need to get these covered this week. Said that before, but I have to do it because those bugs are going to come out. There's some sage in the back, some rosemary, and I've also put in a variety of those onions, a bunch of those onions that I had started from older seeds. So we have Muncher cucumber, Monica, Beta Alpha, Tender Green, Mini Me, and Diva. Now all of these are supposed to be parsnip carpet, so they should create cucumbers just on their own. So they should all create cucumbers just on their own with no pollination by insects. Some more kind of sad okra. And then we have some squash in here. This should be sweet dumpling squash. I will need to cover that or I will lose it. Some rosemary. And sage. Here we have some table queen acorn squash, okra along the back, sage, rosemary, and onions. Here we have, what do we have? Gill's Golden Pippin squash. And I actually got some of those to harvest last year. We have some onions. We have rattlesnake beans that are growing up the trellis. More sage, onions, Muscade de Provence pumpkin, which is a moschata squash. On the side, we have Joseph's Coat amaranth coming up. Let's see, get a little closer. So I'm hoping it has a really gorgeous flower on it from the picture. Back there we have coop on honey baby squash. And a couple more coming up there. Creeping Charlie, creeping in. Along the back on this side of it, we have some hunter butternut squash. And then in the front, we have Maxibel haricot green beans, which are getting ready to bloom. Over here, we have a mixture of Calypso drying beans as well as some lima beans, because not all the Calypso came up. And on this side, we have cranberry beans. So on this side, we have cranberry beans, which are also getting ready to blossom. We have our Jardel pumpkin, some zinnias along the back, some more onions, some cosmos, and then we have Long Island cheese pumpkins here, some more zinnias. We need to do some weeding. We have some calendula up here. We have Mayflower pole beans in the back. On that side and on this side, we have the zucchini rambuncati, which is Italian zucchini, which is a climber. So it's already climbing up. And in front of it is probably the best alyssum I have ever grown. It's awesome. So over here we have artichoke, and there's a second one over on that corner. The one in the center did not make it. I think a bird killed it. I put a pepper from inside there. Got some more okra. She's not doing great. So over here we have Haddon pumpkin, Dutch fork pie pumpkin, and then pink bananas. Oh wow, the Cucurbita squash is growing nicely. And then over here down the center, I have a variety of apple and peach trees. And these two are nectarine trees. Had one. Yep, there it is. I have one nectarine. And then these two are near the others that got hit by the spider mites. So I'm hoping that they will still leaf out. I don't know. So there's a contender peach that I got at Menards. It's doing beautifully. Probably gonna have to put it in a bigger pot though. All right, guys, I went back there and harvested. I got the scapes, some peas, and also the basil. So I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna make powder or pesto out of these. We'll have to see. I did post a question online. So give me your thoughts on that. Which one should I make? I've never made either one. I've never made pesto before. So maybe I'll make pesto out of both. I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, this Friskers Harvest Basket was really awesome. First time I've used it, so it's great. Definitely recommend it. So the garden overall is doing really, really great. Super happy with it. I am going to have a flower bed tour here soon. We are working, as I showed you, on the back flower bed. And then we'll do a little bit more with some of the other ones. We're going to put drip irrigation in and mulch. And it's just hopefully going to be absolutely gorgeous. We'll have a drip irrigation video on here very soon, as well as a number of other gardening videos. So if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. Hit the like button. And until the next time, I wish you very happy gardening. Have a great day.